Okay, let's unpack this. Ever get that feeling that seemingly unrelated things in your life might actually be connected?
Oh, definitely. Like why your coffee machine acts up sometimes and, I don't know, news about a space probe.
Exactly. It feels random, but maybe it's not entirely. That kind of interconnected world is what we're exploring today with systems theory.
And what's really cool about it, as our source here watching A Loop About Loops points out, is how it shifts your perspective.
How so?
Well, instead of seeing just individual bits and pieces, you start seeing this dynamic web, everything influencing everything else.
A web. I like that. And for you listening, if you want to, get a handle on big ideas like this without getting totally overwhelmed.
This is kind of your shortcut, right?
Right. Think of it that way. We're aiming for those aha moments today.
The kind that just click and make you see things a bit differently.
And hopefully a few surprises too.
So the core idea, it's simple but really profound.
Which is?
The world isn't just a collection of separate things bumping around. It's more like a network.
A network of components all working together in some larger process.
Exactly. And this isn't some, new fad either.
No, not at all. Our source mentions Ludwig von Bertalanffy. His general system theory in '68 was huge.
Right. A major milestone. But the roots go back even further.
To who?
Alexander Bogdanov, for instance. He had this concept called techtology way before Bertalanffy.
Techtology, huh? It really shows how ideas build on each other, doesn't it?
It does. And the development of systems thinking, it was this amazing convergence of minds.
From all different fields, right?
Totally. People like Bella Benathy, Gregory Bateson, Anthony Stafford Beer, they were all pushing these boundaries.
And those Macy conferences they mentioned between 46 and 53.
Yeah, they sound incredible, like a real melting pot.
You had Norbert Wiener, the cybernetics pioneer.
Talking with biologists, physicists, political scientists, engineers.
All realizing they were hitting similar fundamental questions.
Just from different angles,
Yeah.
Different languages almost.
One of the key concepts that pops up is synergy.
Ah, synergy. That's where it gets really interesting.
The whole being greater than the sum of its parts.
Precisely. It's like that extra something you get when things combine in the right way.
Okay, let's make this personal. Think about your own life as a system. If one part is off, say, you're not sleeping well,
Right.
that can have these weird knock-on effects, can it?
Totally. On your energy, your mood, even how you do at work. Things you might not immediately link back to sleep.
And systems aren't just static things. They react. They adapt.
Constantly. Think of a city when lots of new people move in.
It has to change, right? New infrastructure, social dynamics shift.
Or an ecosystem when a new species shows up, it adjusts. It finds a new balance, or tries to.
It really makes you question the boundaries we draw.
Like between your body and the environment.
Yeah, or your personal life and what's happening globally. Systems theory kind of suggests those lines are, wow, fuzzy.
More like mental shortcuts, convenient, but maybe not the whole truth.
The source material actually pinpoints a specific moment, the discovery of Bertalanffy's 1950 paper.
Oh yeah, an outline for general systems theory in the British Journal for the Philosophy of Science.
Finding that paper seemed like it was a real turning point.
It really helps crystallize these ideas, gave them a more formal footing.
Because in it, he was really pushing back against reductionism, wasn't he?
Exactly. That old scientific method of just breaking everything down into the smallest possible pieces to understand it.
And his argument was
that by only looking at the pieces in isolation, you miss crucial stuff.
Like what?
Like feedback loops, for one. How the output of a system can circle back and affect its input.
Right. And also how systems can kind of organize themselves.
Self-organization, yeah. Which leads to some really mind-bending concepts.
Like emergent properties.
And Ilya Prigoghine's work on dissipative structures.
Okay. Explain that a bit.
Think about you have a bunch of water molecules.
Right.
Individually, they're just doing their thing.
Yeah.
But under the right conditions, boom, they organize into a hurricane.
Something totally new appears that wasn't obvious from the single molecules.
Exactly. Or cosmic dust gathering to form a star. That's emergence. Order from chaos, in a way.
And living systems are prime examples of this.
Definitely, they're constantly swapping energy with their surroundings, creating complexity.
Then there's Maturana and Varela's concept, autopoiesis.
Autopoiesis? It's the idea that living systems are fundamentally self-making, self-maintaining.
Like they're constantly rebuilding themselves.
From the inside out, yeah. It's a continuous process.
So if we zoom out, systems thinking gives us this framework.
A way to see how it all connects.
Yeah.
From tiny cells forming tissues and organs.
All the way up to complex minds and entire societies evolving over time.
It makes total sense that the Society for the Advancement of General Systems Theory back in '55 was so interdisciplinary.
You had biologists, computer scientists, sociologists, mathematicians.
Kenneth Boulding, Anatole Rappaport, Ralph Gerard, all these different experts finding common ground.
Because they were seeing the same underlying patterns in their own field.
Yeah, these recurring themes, whether you're looking at a beehive
Or a software network.
or a huge multinational corporation.
You see complexity, adaptation, some kind of unified behavior.
It's fascinating. The source also talks about the link between biology and engineering,
Systems engineering, taking that big picture view for complex projects.
like NASA missions or managing a whole watershed ecosystem.
It shows the practical side, doesn't it? Applying these ideas to solve tangible problems.
Absolutely. And ecology is another perfect fit.
Howard Odum and Eugene Odum thinking of ecosystems as balanced systems.
Exchanging energy, matter, information. It highlights how delicate that balance is.
Right, like the example of lake eutrophication. Too many nutrients get in.
And the whole system can collapse. Algal blooms, fish die-offs.
Shows the danger of ignoring those connections.
And it's not just nature. Economics, too. World systems theory looks at how global economies are intertwined.
Ignoring that interdependence can be risky, lead to instability.
Yeah. And another key thing is that systems aren't always linear or predictable.
They can hit tipping points, thresholds.
Exactly. Small changes can suddenly trigger massive shift. Renee Tom's catastrophe theory touched on this.
And Edward Lorenz with chaos theory, the butterfly effect idea.
Tiny differences in starting conditions leading to wildly different outcomes down the line. It's all part of system dynamics.
Feedback loops are central to this, right? Negative and positive.
Crucial. Negative feedback is the stabilizing kind.
Like a thermostat, keeping the room temperature steady.
Right. It counteracts deviation, brings things back to a set point.
But positive feedback, that's different.
That's the amplifier. It reinforces change, pushes things further away from the starting point.
Like a snowball effect. Think market speculation driving prices up.
Or panic spreading in a crowd. Or even, say, melting ice caps, reflecting less sunlight, causing more warming, causing more melting.
A runaway loop.
Exactly. And understanding which type of loop is dominant is key to understanding system behavior.
So, going back to those boundaries we talked about.
The source really emphasizes how arbitrary they often are. A convenience you humans invented.
We see these artificial lines everywhere. Psychology.
Gregory Bateson argued the mind isn't just in your head. It extends out through communication, through your environment.
Interesting. And in business.
Peter Singe talks about learning organization, seeing the company as an interconnected whole, not just separate departments.
Sociology, too. Talcott Parsons saw societies as complex, living networks.
And it's huge in therapy. Family systems therapy is all about understanding the individual within the context of their family dynamics.
You can't just treat the person in isolation.
Because the whole system influences them, and they influence the system.
It makes that example of the failing department really clear. Just changing the people might not fix it.
Right. If the underlying problem is a flawed process, a negative communication cycle, or a messed up incentive structure.
You're just shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic, basically.
Right.
You need to see the system dynamic.
Which is exactly von Bertalanffy's point. Break down those disciplinary silos.
See, the universal principles at play, thermodynamics, networks, dynamics.
Whether you're studying cells or society or star.
Okay, let's talk more about emergence, this idea that something new arises from the interaction.
Yeah, it's not just the sum of the parts, it's qualitatively different.
The classic question, are you just a pile of cells?
Or does consciousness, intelligence, emerge from the incredibly complex interactions between those cells?
It makes you think about larger scales, too. Cities, political systems, cultures.
Could they function like superorganism, behaving in ways like a single entity?
Like swarm intelligence, bird flock, fish schools.
Or even online phenomena, memes spreading, trends taking off almost overnight, emergent collective behavior.
But that synergy, that collective power, it has a dark side too, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It can drive positive movements, but it can also fuel negative herd mentality, mob behavior.
If it's not understood or if it's manipulated.
Right. Even in computing, you see this. Multi-agent systems.
Where complex global behavior emerges from simple agents following local rules.
Exactly. No central controller telling everything what to do.
Like those early cellular automata models from von Neumann and Ulam.
Showing how complex patterns, snail shell spiral weather patterns, could arise from really basic repetitive rules.
It feels like a fundamental principle of organization in the universe.
And Prigozhin's work, again, on systems far from equilibrium.
They can spontaneously self-organize.
Yes. It suggests life itself, its ability to maintain order and grow more complex, is maybe an expression of this tendency, harnessing energy flows to create structure.
Which ties back beautifully to Maturana and Varela's autopoiesis, the self-making nature of life.
Your body is this constant whirlwind, this festival of smaller systems cooperating.
It's amazing when you think about it.
And crucially, as Bertalanffy stressed, these are open systems.
Meaning they interact with their environment.
Constantly exchanging energy, matter, information. That boundary isn't a solid wall.
It's porous, permeable.
Unlike the idea of a closed system, which is mostly theoretical, right? Very rare in reality.
And ignoring that openness, that complexity, can be disastrous.
Like the rabbits in Australia example. Introduce something without understanding its context in the wider system.
And you get unintended massive consequence, or climate change on a global scale.
Because these systems have memory, they adapt, they learn based on history.
And they can shift into new states, new dynamic regimes.
Which could sometimes be irreversible or very hard to reverse.
So those feedback loops, again, they're the engine driving all this behavior.
Absolutely. Negative loops providing stability.
Thermostat, body temperature regulation.
Positive loops driving change, sometimes exponential change.
Economic bubbles, viral spread, that permafrost thaw example.
Or even organizational culture. A positive cycle of trust builds more trust. A negative cycle of blame breeds more blame.
So tackling any problem really requires understanding these loops first.
Otherwise, you're just fighting symptoms. You're not addressing the underlying structure.
No wonder this way of thinking appeals across so many different fields.
It's about seeing the dynamic process, the relationships, not just static objects.
Even our personal life. Your choices ripple outwards through your network of relations.
You're a node in many overlapping systems.
Which brings us back to that critique of pure reduction.
Yeah, Bertalanffy wasn't saying analysis of parts is useless, but that you also have to study the whole.
The connection, the interactions.
Exactly. That's where a lot of the system's behavior comes from.
Now, some critics say systems theory is too vague, too general.
And the source mentions Iran Jill's point here, which I think is good.
What's that?
That it's maybe less a single predictive theory and more a paradigm, a way of seeing.
A framework for recognizing interconnectedness.
Yeah. And honestly, that resonates with lived experience, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, you know your body is more than just organs. Your family is more than just individuals.
Your city is more than buildings. Society is more than interest group.
It's the relationships, the interactions, the emergent patterns that make them what they are.
Even fields like math and computer science are reflecting the shift, right?
Totally. Complexity theory, chaos theory, network science, they're all about understanding how complex, large-scale patterns emerge from simple local interactions.
Like those virtual bird flock simulations. Simple rules, complex collective behavior.
It's everywhere. And look at modern tech.
AI, neural networks.
Multi-agent systems, they're like digital echoes of these natural systems principles.
Global intelligence emerging from local interaction.
Think facial recognition. Self-driving cars analyzing complex environments.
It really blurs the line between nature and machine, doesn't it?
It does. These synthetic systems can adapt, self-regulate, even show sparks of creativity.
Makes you question what life or intelligence even means.
Maybe they're just different flavors of the same underlying phenomena. Complex, interrelated structures generating emergent behavior.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Politics, organizations, how does systems thinking apply there?
Well, it raises really important questions about boundaries and power.
Like who decides where one system ends and another begins?
And how do decisions made within one system, say, a national policy, ripple out globally?
The source mentions Stafford Beer's project CyberSyn in Chile.
Fascinating example. Trying to use cybernetics, systems principles, to manage an entire national economy in real time.
What happened?
It faced huge political challenges and was ultimately cut short. It shows the difficulty of applying these ideas at scale, especially when power dynamics are involved.
And it raises ethical questions, too, if everything's connected.
Who's responsible when large systems fail or marginalize people? Where does accountability lie?
Thinkers like Russell Ackoff warned about the danger of ignoring these connections.
He called it a mess. Complex problems where everything is tangled together. Trying to solve one part in isolation often makes other parts worse.
So the takeaway, look deeper.
Yeah. See, political battles, economic crises, even personal dramas, not just as isolated events, but as emergent phenomena, symptoms of underlying systemic dynamic.
Which means interventions need to be deeper, too.
Exactly. Consider education. A kid struggling isn't just about the kid.
It's their home environment, classroom dynamics, nutrition, the school's policies.
It's a whole system.
Yeah.
Peter Senge's learning organization idea in business is similar, understanding how everyone's roles connect.
And therapy, again, family systems, organizational psychology.
You have to see the individual within their context.
Design, too. Software, urban planning.
If you design something without thinking about the user's broader system, how it fits into their life, their workflows.
It failed. The source mentioned billions wasted on software development for that reason.
Yeah, because it didn't account for the system it was entering.
So we're kind of at this crossroads now, aren't we? Machine logic, AI, big data, meeting human complexity.
We have tools that could help us understand and manage complexity better than ever before.
But it requires a shift in perspective. The text called it a moral shift.
Yeah, which leads to second-order cybernetics.
Heinz von Forster.
Right, the idea that the observer is part of the system. You can't stand outside it.
By observing, you change it.
And yourself. Edgar Morin championed this idea of complexity as a moral pursuit.
No.
Meaning we have an ethical obligation to try and see the whole picture, embrace multiple perspectives, understand the interconnectedness.
It means realizing your daily choices, what you buy, how you vote, how you treat your neighbor. They're not isolated acts.
They're inputs into vast, intricate system. Climate change, economic justice, public.
So von Forster's paradox, understanding the system changes you, which changes the system.
It puts a huge ethical weight on decision makers, doesn't it? Especially those operating at high levels.
Absolutely. And when we face global challenges, resource scarcity, pollution, inequality.
Systems theory forces us to see they're not separate problems. They're interconnected facets of a global systemic crisis.
So Band-Aid solutions won't cut it.
Probably not. You need structural shifts. The example given is green energy subsidies.
How's that a systems intervention?
Well, it's not just about building windmills. It changes economic incentives, which affects investment, which creates jobs, which shifts public opinion, which influences geopolitics around fossil fuels.
Oh, okay. It creates cascading effects across multiple interconnected areas.
Exactly. A leverage point that ripples through the system.
So positive change requires conscious effort from everyone involved, not just reacting.
Pretty much. We need to become more aware of the loops we're participating in, consciously try to shift them towards healthier dynamics.
It's quite a compelling vision, systems theory as a potential guide.
Maybe even a salvation, as the source puts it poetically. It draws on such deep roots. Marx, Spencer, Kant, Bertalanffy did an amazing job weaving threads together.
And that vision of Oslo, seeing it as a unifying force for science.
Recognizing the illusion of those boundaries we create. It's powerful.
Which brings us back to you, the listener. The big question.
How would you act differently if you really took this interconnectedness to heart?
Doesn't mean losing yourself or stopping detailed analysis.
Not at all. But it adds another layer, doesn't it? An awareness of the echoes, the ripple effects of your actions.
So could this be the lens we need to unify knowledge, act more ethically, maybe build a better future?
It's a hopeful thought. The reality of synergy, of interdependence, it's undeniable once you start looking for it.
And maybe your own ability to influence the system, to shape that collective reality.
Might be much greater than you realize.
Wow. We've certainly covered a lot of ground exploring this web of connections.
It's been a fascinating journey into seeing the loops all around us.
And it really is a reminder, isn't it, that every action, no matter how small, sends out ripples.
That goes through those feedback loops.
So stay curious. Keep exploring these connections.
And remember, every piece fits into this incredible, dynamic, thriving whole.